So we're going to move on now to talk about our second rhetorical appeal, pathos. This is wonderful. Well, you really can't have a good argument without logos. An argument without pathos is an argument that often falls flat, fails to connect to the reader, fails to engage the reader. And so while you don't want to have an argument that has no logic to it, no evidence supporting it, emotion is so valuable to consider. So pathos is where we get our word for passion. It's where we get our word for empathy and sympathy. And the opposite of pathos is apathetic, right? Without emotion, without feeling. So why use pathos? It can make us care, right? If I don't care about a topic and I read or listen or see something that makes me care about it, then I'm also more likely to move toward action, right? Apathetic people don't act, even if they're convinced that something is true. And then it also helps us connect to the author as well as the subject. We are emotional beings. We are not merely logical, though we are logical, but we're emotional as well. So we can use the whole range of emotions. It's both the emotions that we're projecting in our writing and also the emotions we want our readers to feel. So we might want to project empathy or want our readers to feel empathy. We might want to share worry or cause our readers to worry. And while that sounds awful, right, if you're talking about something like global warming or a problem like the opioid epidemic, or about the problem of increasing homelessness, causing a reasonable amount of worry is not necessarily a bad thing if it leads people to act. Anger, right? Sometimes righteous anger. There's a lot of that in the Black Lives Matters movement, right? And so there's kind of a righteous indignation that can often move people to action. Guilt, appreciation, right? They're not always negative feelings, right? Appreciation can cause us to act differently or think differently. Curiosity is such an important emotion. Humor. I mean, think about how many times people are attracted to some romantic partner because of humor, right? And so those are things to think about. Now in Pathos, for Pathos, I have a couple of examples from Grit. Angela Duckworth tends to use kind of a lot of self-deprecating humor in her writing, and we'll talk about how that connects to ethos as well. But here, in terms of emotions, she starts in her preface by sharing, growing up, I heard the word genius a lot. It was always my dad who brought it up. He liked to say, apropos of nothing at all, you know, you're no genius, right? And what's ironic about this and kind of funny about this is then she goes on to win a MacArthur Fellowship, which is a genius grant. It's known as a genius grant. But her purpose of bringing this up is actually she thinks genius is not as important as grit is. People can be geniuses and not gritty, and they can be gritty and not geniuses. The gritty person is going to be more successful than the actual genius would be. This is funny. It also is like slightly painful, right? Like, oh, people telling me I'm not a genius, like that doesn't feel good. And yet, because she's saying this, we can feel more connected with her as an author. Later on, and this is a very similar example in the chapter on practice, she describes practicing the TED Talk that she gives. And she talks about getting feedback on it, and she gets constructive criticism about things that she needs to change to make it better. And her response is, ouch, that bad, huh? And well, ultimately, she points out that the feedback she got helped her to do a much, much, much better job eventually on her TED Talk. She's sharing this emotion of discomfort, this emotion of kind of pain at being told that what she did wasn't good enough yet, so that when she tells us she did get there, and it took hours and hours and hours of practice and lots of tries and lots of revisions, that we can trust that she understands what it feels like to get negative feedback. And so again, these things make me chuckle a little bit as I read. They're a little bit uncomfortable, but they're uncomfortable in the way that I feel I can connect to her as a reader, I can connect to her as an author. So we'll continue to talk about a couple of other rhetorical appeals, and none of these, again, are things that you don't have to choose between pathos and logic, because these things work well together.